Okay then guys, what's going on? Cloud Plays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. And today we're inside a Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where we have got the developer update for February 16th. Now this is an interesting one as the game director Axel Ridby breaks down the most recent patch and more in our latest weekly developer update. Here we go. This is a big one and one that I knew was going to be coming. This was obviously something that was always going to be addressed, and with the latest patch it will be interesting to see what it is that Axel's actually got to say. So with that being said, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. On top of that, check out our sponsor for today's video, Advanced GG, the #1 clinically proven energy supplement on the market. My favourite flavour is cherry vanilla, but you guys can catch an array of flavours via the link in the description. Using code CLOUD at checkout will get you a cheeky discount. But with that being said, let's dive on in to see what it is that Axel's been saying. So this statement starts off, which is a long one to say the least. He goes in to begin with, "Hello people of Metropolis. It's been another busy but exciting week here at Rocksteady. We launch our first post-launch patch and we're also preparing for the release of Season 1, cue the Joker memes. But more importantly, the team is working incredibly hard on bug fixing and improvements. You've all clearly been busy too. We've loved seeing the endgame busting builds you've put together, the insane displays of skills as you master the squad's traversal, and the hype moments as you take on the Justice League and Brainiac. For this update, I wanted to address the reception to the patch as well as our first thoughts on the effect it's had, what we're currently working on, and what we're looking to work on in the oncoming weeks." So this one is an interesting one because he goes on to talk about the top priority issues. Now he states right here that for our upcoming patches we are looking to address login issues and server issues, and while we may not be able to fix all of those issues right away, I want to assure everybody that this is our top priority for us. We hear and feel your frustration and we can only agree. It's unacceptable for the players who are affected by this. We need to do better and work hard to fix these issues. That is, however, not an easy nut to crack because it's not only one single issue, it's several smaller issues that are affecting some players in different ways. Now we can only ask that you remain patient and keep giving more information through customer service support portals to help us address this issue. Now obviously this one is a big one because the server issues, the login issues, seem to be attacking quite a few more people than we actually originally thought. My comment section is absolutely obliterated by people struggling to deal with this one, and some people have not been able to play online for the last 2 weeks. Now considering the game's only been out for 2 weeks, it's quite a big issue that we all really need to adhere to. Now the fact that they've managed to not get this done yet, although it is a top priority, you'd like to think it was a top priority, but I'd also like to think that they'd probably have it nailed in the first 2 weeks, or at least that's my honest opinion on it. If you guys are still having issues, let me know via the comment section, but we've got quite a lot to go through on here, so we're going to walk into the next issue, which is why did we release an endgame bug fix and balancing patch first? Now balancing changes can be done by our design teams with little to no need for code support. Login issues and server issues are sadly not something a designer can fix. However, we don't want to delay changes that can be implemented quickly and will improve parts of the game. So while we understand that you might wonder and be frustrated around priorities, keep in mind that we have different teams working on different issues in parallel. Rest assured though, our engineering and network code teams are dedicated and completely focused on fixing network issues. At the end of the day, we don't want to delay changes that we can make and believe will improve parts of the game. Now, for me, that does make a hell of a lot of sense. I think that it's a massive factor that actually, if this is something that they could have done with relative ease, then fair enough, that makes sense. The fact that we've obviously got separate teams working on different issues also does to make sense. Although I can't excuse the factor of 2 weeks with server issues, meaning that some people have not been able to play at all for a game which is price bracketed at $70 to $100. I really enjoy the game. You guys know me and you know that I've had a lot of fun inside of here, but it does seem to be a bit of a joke that we're having to wait this long for something from a company so renowned, I guess. But nonetheless, we're going to move forward with this one, stating the patch and leaderboard update. Now, in our latest patch, we addressed a game-breaking issue with the Burn Affliction, and we introduced a new leaderboard to immortalize all of you who engaged with the mastery levels and quite literally broke the game. If you open the leaderboards in-game after the patch, you'll be able to change the filter and view the Finite Crisis OG villains, which is what you all are, the original crowd, and the Trailblazers and the OG villains. We also changed the mastery level balancing based on feedback from you all, and to make enemy health increased less steep at mastery level 46 plus. The intent was that these changes was to allow for more build permutations, and we're really excited to see all of you now chase and explore new builds. We are even seeing some interesting freeze builds emerging, which we think is pretty cool. See what we did there. Okay, one of the other changes we have made in this patch was to both increase the damage that enemies deal at Mastery 46 plus a bit, and to reduce the damage reduction on Heat Wave's Molten Skin and the Turtle's Shell from 100 to 90, We've seen that this was met with somewhat mixed feelings, given that enemies at this level were pretty threatening already. However, our intentions here is to keep both these items as very powerful damage reduction tools, but to ensure players still have a master traversal to steer clear of danger on the higher mastery levels. We also hope this will make players consider more ways of reducing enemy damage, further to making endgame builds, both with talents and with augments on gear. There are some pretty powerful combinations in there that might be obvious at first glance, but can create synergies. When we pair these changes with the decreasing rate at which enemies gain health throughout the mastery levels, our intent is that this will lead to a combat experience at higher mastery levels that is a bit more frantic and fast-paced, where mastery of traversal, combat mechanics and your own build become crucial if you want to keep pushing. Now, this one, it's an irritating one to say the least, because for me personally, I think that these sorts of games are not just about certain builds. That shouldn't be what this is about, and realistically, if we're making these builds, what are we making these builds for? Because it sure as hell isn't the end game inside of this. Now, if you guys have put some hours into it like I have, this becomes pretty tedious pretty damn quickly. Now, there is quite a lot more to go through, so this is going to be quite a lengthy video. My apologies for that one. But it states right here that what is next. The highest priority within the code teams at the moment is to first and foremost address the issues some players having around login and servers. While that is happening, we want to share what else is in the works already and what we've got cooking for upcoming patches. Changes to the Prometheum game loop. We're seeing an imbalance where players need to play too many Metropolis missions to get Prometheum for incursion missions, killing time, or the mayhem missions. Some players have found ways to alleviate this by hunting the Cargonauts that are spread around the city, which is great to see. However, the Metropolis missions remain a concern for us, and we hear you that this loop could be more interesting, and in particular that it doesn't feel like you're engaging with the open world as much as you would like. We want you to feel like you're exploring Metropolis, and that there are reasons to engage with the open world beyond just traversing between missions. Now, a big change on this one is that Raising Hell will reward 3,000 Prometheum for completing tier 1, and each substantial tier will reward an increasing amount of Prometheum. Essentially, Raising Hell will be the way to get Prometheum quickly. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Raising Hell is obviously in chapter 6. It's a feature for your favourite Toyman, and it revolves around the annoying the heck out of Brainiac in Metropolis and set numbers and stuff like that. So these are essentially just certain things that you can do around Metropolis, which are also planning to give you those quite nicely. They're also planning on giving these hit squads a bump so that they drop better loot rewards. We hope that this change will mean that you all get to explore and engage with Metropolis in different ways. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair play. Big time, fair play. I think that is not really a big one, but Yep, okie dokie. They've got the mutators balancing out, which is mainly around the boom and affliction immunity. Now they've noted the feedback, but they first want to talk a little about the role of mutators in endgame overall. Mutators are supposed to act as playstyle changes, points in the mastery levels where you need to reevaluate your build, which is why they're mostly made to synergize with certain builds or afflictions. Having said that, we appreciate that boom might be restricting the way that you play, especially with playing Harley and King Shark. We are therefore considering excluding suicide strikes and shield harvesting for triggers boom, so that you can still use your abilities, but will still have to consider your positioning carefully, blah blah blah. Not really a massive big ordeal with that one. And they're also considering modifying the affliction immunity that will have an effect from enemies whenever they take damage rather than just critical hits. Again, small ordeals, like these aren't big things. I'm really looking at this, kind of hoping that there's going to be more to come when it comes to this sort of stuff. I know that we're moving into season 1 soon, but they're also focusing on lower tiered legendary items. Now the intention with legendary gear is that it would be a viable part of the in-game builds, and in some cases even more a cornerstone item in a build, which would obviously be complementary items to the Notorious or Infamy sets, which is obviously fantastic because we've all been working along those things. Now we're taking a careful look at this, but before we action anything, we would love to really hear if you have discovered any legendary item that you think would be great in a build, but that you're just not using due to it falling behind in terms of damage output and so on and so forth. Blah 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 blah. Nothing too big to adhere to here, but at least we're seeing some of the stuff happening inside of the game. Massive shout out to Axel and the Rocksteady team putting this one out, but realistically this is not a big one at all, and I'm not as excited after reading it as I was beforehand. I was kind of hoping for a bit more, and I feel like you guys probably were as well. But I mean, the link is down in the description if you guys want to go and check out the full thing, but I wouldn't say it was really worth your time. I'd be surprised if this game does make it through to the season 1 with any real player base. I think that we are enjoying the game for what it is, and we'll probably come back for season 1, but the likelihood is that not many people are going to be playing before that point, just because it's a wall that's been hit big time. What it does for me is not very much at all. The end game is quite fun. I've got to a point where I've got a decent build, I've got to a high enough finite level, and my character levels are okay. They will suffice. It will manage for season 1. I'm not overly impressed with all of this, I'm not going to lie to you. Was expecting some bigger patches, some bigger updates, and something that would really enhance the game. And the fact that they can't even get the servers and login issues sorted out is kind of a massive red flag for me personally. But we're going to get some hate in the comment section. I'm under no illusion that apparently we need to give them a break. But I mean, if you're charging $70 to $100 or $70 to £100 on a game that you can't get to log in properly, or even play online for a game that needs to be online all the time, you're bashing your own head against a brick wall there. It's ridiculous. But anywho, nonetheless, if you have got this far in the video, massive salute to you guys. This is a fucking long one for me, but hopefully you have enjoyed it. Smash the like button, subscribe, post notifications turned on, and if you got this far, then hit me down in the comment section with a thumbs down, because realistically it deserves it. Let's be real. I'm a little disappointed. You guys probably are too. But nonetheless, thanks again for watching. Appreciate your faces. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the clouds.